Well, hey friends, and welcome back. So, it's mid-October, and the shed is starting to transform here. So, I am trying my best, as with most things, to get projects done. So, the project that needs done now is the electrical. So here's what the shed looks like on the inside now. I'm going a little bit extra credit and decided to do a two-tone paint job in here, which has basically taken me a great majority of the summer. And now we're into October. We're actually blessed with a very nice warm week. So I'm gonna try to get the electrical done in here before the cold of the winter sets in. So, background on the electrical in here. I may have said it previously, but here's what we're up to. When they ran the lighting for the patio, I had them pull two 20 amp circuits in here. So the shed has two 20 amp circuits on either side. So there's an Edison outlet that's right here, and then there's an Edison outlet on the other side. And then, I don't know if you can see this or not, because we're running out of daylight here. There's a bunch of Romex that runs along this line right here, this upper portion. It was a kind of a pain to paint. So what I'm gonna end up doing is just replacing all of that with SO. So I bought some linear light fixtures in here. So one of the reasons why I painted the roof first is I wanted to get that done, and then finish the walls once we get light in here. So that's what we're gonna do now. So as far as getting everything done, I mean, you can see why I wanna replace this. I mean, I would, if I had to do this again, I would have done the electrical before, or I would have painted before I had the electrical put in. But again, I didn't realize that I would be going as extra credit with the paint, which I certainly am regretting that decision right now because it's a pain. So I'm gonna get Romex or SO run up there, and that is going to be basically the power that feeds the two outlets and then the lights. So as far as the electrical aspect for the landscape lighting goes, here's what all of this looks like. So if you remember from the previous video, the install video, there is two separate neutrals that hit the string of lights out there. And there's also this pastel purple and this pastel yellow color, and those are my feed lines that go out there. And then if you see on the Romex, it says yellow and purple. So what I'm gonna do is I have a waterproof box, just a nylon box that I'm gonna mount up there that are gonna hold the transformers. So the two transformers are gonna take 120 and step that down to 24 volts DC to power the lighting. And I'm gonna put all that stuff in there. And to further, just add some extra credit elements to the shed, I'm gonna put linear light fixtures on the ceiling here. And this switch box over here, I'm going to put an illuminated outlet or a switch in so that when you come in, that's the first thing that you grab is the switch. This right now, I'm fairly certain is just one of the feed lines going to the lights. This is low voltage, so I'm gonna need to run another wire in here to make the switch. So anyway, I'm going to get the box mounted. Hopefully I can have enough daylight to do that today. If not, that'll be another video. So stand by and get the box mounted. Here we go. All right, so the box is mounted. So this is a 12 by 12 Carlin box. This is all PVC. The interesting thing is it has these little mount tabs that actually screw to the back. So this thing is completely waterproof. And I am using a PG 13.5 cable gland on the side there and then on the bottom right here. So my plan is that my supply will come in from the top and then the transformer outlet will come out the bottom. And when I was looking at this, I didn't realize that there was a split here where the two panels are joined together. So in order to do that, my top supply line will come out the side very nice, and my bottom one will be just off center. So, it's not a Billy project unless there's something that could have been properly achieved with proper measuring. So anyway, I decided to put the transformers in this Carlin box like this because the proximity to the vent means they're going to sort of be exposed. And then, this is also a shed in a field, right with a field. So I don't know what's going to end up in here in terms of mice and any of that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of just building this as far as, overkill kind of situation. But, anything is going to be better than this temporary mess we've got going on down there. So my next step is I'm going to pull these boxes apart and just figure out where my electrical supply lines are, because I'm going to need to basically make a malt so that there is supply coming in here, and then I'm going to take it right back down to that outlet. So I want that malt to happen so that the GFCI breaker is still intact, because this is still outside. So anyway, I'm going to make that or figure out this wiring, and I'll check back in. Okay, so before we start taking stuff apart, this is my main box that's coming in from the basement. So this PVC line that comes up has both circuits. So I've got 2 hots and 2 neutrals coming up from the basement in this shed. So there's 2 20-amp circuits. So, and looking at this, power comes up from here. Anything that's this pastel purple color is low voltage. So I am just kind of guessing that this goes through the bottom of the shed and then comes up, because I don't see any other additional Romex going out. So there's 2 Romex lines that are here, and then obviously one circuit terminates here, and then the other one goes out. This box right here feeds these lights over here, and then if we look at this side, there are the jumpers that come in. So there's 3 Romex lines that come down here. One is the hot for this box. The other one jumps up and goes over here, and then it just splits the circuit into this switch. They kind of completely misunderstood what I was wanting as far as an outlet to switch the lights on. They gave me a switched outlet, but they didn't realize that there were transformers. So anyway, I've got to run a hot line up into the box. So really, before we do that, I've just got to neaten up this run, because I want to get rid of this Romex and then just run SO that's along this line like this, because it'll just be neater. So anyway, I'm gonna pop the power off here, and we'll get these boxes neatened up and these Romex lines tore down. Okay, so some time has passed since the last video, and we actually got a new roof put on the shed, which, thank God, that last roof was looking pretty bad. The only thing that happened is when they put the new roof on, they shot about 1 million nails through my beautiful paint job up there. So the roof looked nice for a couple, well, the inside looked great, but the outside was not so great. And now it's flip-flopped, so I don't know what we're going to do with that at the moment, but I'll figure something out. So I did get my linear light fixtures attached here. So these are mounted. I actually hung these. They came with cable, which was pretty cool. So I just grabbed a little crimp set and ended up hanging them from the rafters. So it's actually a nice day. We're in the beginning of November at this point. So, the shed process is definitely I work on it when I have time thing. So it's been pretty slow. So updates, new roof, got that covered. Linear light fixtures attached. I did end up pulling all the Romex down off of this run right here. So I'm gonna get my SO run today. And then the other project that I decided to sort of add last minute was I want to add some Sofit lights in out here underneath this. So I think that would look really nice and throw some light on the patio. So first order of business today, I think I'm actually going to get the Sofit lights cut in, and that way I can do all the electrical at once, so I can do it in somewhat of an organized fashion, which is, definitely not my normal MO. So anyway, get those lights cut in. All right, so I finally got our Sofit lights cut in here. So I ended up making myself this very fancy jig here. at LM that was all sized around cutting a 4-inch diameter hole in the soffit, because I figured that hanging upside down and cutting things with a hole saw would be a giant pain in the butt. And the router just did not like that, and you can tell skipped around and chattered a lot. So I ended up going down to our friendly local Ace Hardware store here and buying a hole saw. So after much measurement, I decided on 5 lights, and here are the holes. So here is the tricky part, because you know with my projects, they're never easy. I'm now realizing that this is a 1/2-inch piece of plywood that's right up here. So in order to do that, in order to make this fit in here, I have to find the difference, or I find out the measurement of this, which I think this is not going to work, because these lights are designed to fit into an existing can to make it retrofittable. So I think I'm going to have to come up with a spacer. So more on that in a second. So, while the answer is not necessarily apparent to me as to how to solve the problem for the Sofit lights, I think what I am going to do is, while I'm chewing on that, is get my linear lights hooked up here. So what I did was I ran the wire exits here. So one is to the left-hand side, this one is to the right-hand side. I'm going to run them along this raceway, or create a raceway right here. And then the plan is I'm going to put a illuminated switch right here, because you come into the shed through that door, so obviously you want the illuminated light switch to be over there. And then the patio lights and the soffit lights and everything else are going to be in an always on kind of format that's going to end up over here. So, you know, you don't really need to ever get to those switches, since in theory you'll be controlling it all with the app on your phone. So anyway, I'm going to get the linear lights hooked up, and hopefully by the time I come up with that wiring, I'll have a good solution to get those soffit lights mounted. Well, we're wired. A moment of truth. Hey, look at that. We finally have light in the shed. So here's what's going on so far. So what I decided to do was, in this box, we do have the 2 feed lines coming in. So one goes directly to this outlet right here. The other one splits at the switch and goes up and hits this little malt box up here, and that basically takes the power supply line and wires the 2 fixtures together. And what I did with this wiring right here is just creating this little raceway of cable ties. So this 12-gauge cable right here, this is the secondary circuit that goes to the other side. And this 14-gauge wire is the other half of the landscape lighting. So everything kind of sums in this box right here. But it was kind of painful to pull all that Romex out of here, but even just looking at my first bit of neat wiring, it makes a huge difference. So it is kind of making all of the pain and suffering of rewiring this entire shed that I paid electricians to do worth it. And then, check that out. I don't even know if you can see it. It's an illuminated LED light switch that you sort of can't see. So anyway, I am going to continue running cable, and I'm going to get the lights, the landscape lighting, or excuse me, the soffit lighting wired in one at a time, and then we'll just dress this down as we terminate at the other side. All right, so here's what the light looks like. Now again, as is typical for just my basic existence of life, I'm trying to use something that is not designed to do what I want it to do in an application that is not applicable, if that makes any sense. I always try to get the wrong stuff to do what I want it to do. So these are Phillips Hue lights that are designed to integrate into existing can fixtures. Now, because of that, this distance right here, sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed while holding the camera, is about 2.5 inches. Now, the soffit is a 1/2 inch piece of plywood. So obviously, if I shove this up there, it's going to hang down, 2 inches or so by the time this grabs. So this is the thing that I'm trying to figure out. And then I had a moment of clarity that I should just use a T-nut, something that we use at LM daily on all kinds of stuff. Just like, oh my God, a T-nut is what we need to do. So I went to our local Ace Hardware store in the teeny tiny village of New Middletown, Ohio, which is actually like the best hardware store ever, and just got the smallest that I could get, which coincidentally is a 632nd. And any of you that are hip with electrical things know that 632nd is what is the size of all electrical outlets and that kind of thing. So I just got these, and I figured I will put I'll drill 3 holes in here, and I got a flathead so that it'll recess kind of sort of nicely. And I also went to the shop this morning and grabbed a countersink bit, so they should, in theory, sink into this really nicely. So the way that these lights work is it sort of gives you this light bulb thing in here, but it does give you a black and white hot and neutral wire. So I'm just gonna cut this off and crimp a butt splice on the end of it with a 14 gauge wire, and then I'll just splice all of the lights together along the line, and that's how we'll do power to the Sofit lights. So I'm gonna get some holes drilled in and see if we can get this first light up and check back in. Well, here we go. All 5 lights are mounted. The Starship Enterprise shed is about to commence. So basically what I did here is I just have tails that are coming down. So I took a waterproof butt splice, cut the light bulb attachment off, and just made a little extension. So basically what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna make little Ys. So we're gonna start with the rightmost light and then wire them down and make a splice so that there's only one line of light that will come down to our switch. So stand by, I'll show you what that looks like. So check this out. We've got power. Sofit lights are actually looking really, really nice. Pay no mind to the left side of the shed. I still need painting. I still have to finish painting, but I wanted to get the electrical done. So here is what our final wiring looks like. I need to put a few more zip ties up there. But here's where I'm at so far. It is cold and late on a Sunday night, and I am ready to call it a night. So I've got the outlet wired in, and then I've got this box, which again is a mess, but we'll get that cleaned up. So I've got a bunch of wire run up into our Carlin box. So the next step of the project is going to be to get the transformers and things loaded up in there, but it is certainly a heck of a lot easier to do that now that the roof lights are working. So the next thing that we have to do is I want to put one more exterior light on here because, the shed already doesn't look like the Starship Enterprise enough. So I want to get that done. But yeah, I'm really hoping that tomorrow we can finally wrap this project. So see you tomorrow. Okay, so it's been about 2 weeks since I've got the Sofit lights mounted, which are faring pretty well. And in that time, I got some gutters installed, which unfortunately are the wrong color, but that's okay. We'll work on that. Because it's a nice fall Saturday here, and it's 2 things can be true on the same day. It's a nice day, and I also have the day off. Decided to get some of my trim painting done. So while it's a nice day, I want to get this light hung on the outside. So if you saw from previous videos, I do like these Phillips Luca fixtures. So these are on the outside of my garage, which there's a video for that. And they're on the outside of the basement entrance, which there is a video for that. So for this, I think I'm just going to do one light and put it just right here. I think that'll be cool for just sort of illuminating the side yard here, because there isn't there isn't anything out here as far as lighting goes. So the cool thing about the Sofit lights is the past couple of weeks I've been playing with them, and they do throw a lot of light. So just having another secondary light fixture to light things up, I think would be cool. And the only reason why I'm doing one and not two is this door is hinged on the right, and I'm just afraid that when you open the door, it will slam into the light. So anyway, I'm gonna get that light mounted, and then I'll check back in with you on the wiring. All right, so I decided that before we get the light mounted, I wanted to just get this box finished up. So we've got 3 switches in this box. So one is the Sofit lights, the other one are the landscape lights, and this one is going to be the outdoor light. So following this up here to our box, I'm going to get this dressed and taken care of, and then we will run our feed line to the lights back down that way. I figure we'll just end up with that. And I've got the hole mounted, and I just want to shoot some silicone in there, so we'll do that last. So now I'm going to get this transformer box wired up. All right, transformers are mounted. So all we're going to do here is take the load side of the transformers and mate them up with the colors. So I'm going to get that wiring neatened up and check back in. All right, we're all wired up here. Pretty simple. Just the feed lines are tied on the line side of the transformers, and the load side, everything is just basically matched with this little color code. Yellow goes with yellow, purple goes with purple, etc. So I am going to flip the power on in the basement, and we'll see if the magical smoke monster comes out or the lights illuminate. Well, no smoke monsters here. Sofit lights are on, which is good. Can't really see that these lights are on, but they are. So, all right. Time to get the Luca light mounted. All right, light is mounted. And pretty nice looking, if I must say so myself. So what we're gonna do here on the other side of the wall, or I should say, what I ended up doing as far as mounting goes is I had some T-nuts left over from the Sofit lights, and I used those. When I mounted the hole, when I mounted the light, I picked an arbitrary center spot to just put the wiring in. And, well, the universe had other plans for that, so it's a little bit off center. So what I'm going to do now is I have an interior box, so you don't see this. So I'm going to shoot some silicone in there just to try to make a nicer seal, and then once that's dried, we'll get this box in, and then this is wrapping up the shed project. Well, that pretty much wraps this project. There are a few things that still need done, but this is pretty close. So the Sofit lights are installed. Our side light is installed. And then as far as the internal electrical goes, this is pretty much done, except the box in the upper left-hand corner of your screen that's missing a cover. I'm gonna get that done, I promise. So again, here's what everything looks like finished up. Here's the switch. Very slightly illuminated, but illuminated for the overhead lights. Our box is installed. I think these linear lights look really, really cool. I'm definitely looking at other projects in my house to put linear lighting in. So again, switch box is in. These are our 3 controls. So Sofit lights, patio lights, and then the exterior light. I think that just replacing Romex with SO just looks so, so nice. The Carlin box again up there is just a very nice way of hiding the transformers up there. Here's the back end of our exterior light. So again, that pretty much wraps this project. I've got a little bit of paint touch-up work to do in here. Some of the studs need to be finished painting, as you can see, and I'm going to paint the floor the same color as the walls. But other than that, I just needed to get the electrical done so that I can just do that at night, because currently in mid-November right now, it gets dark at about 4:30. So I will leave you my opening pit, or my closing of this video, looking at the beautiful sunny field on this fall November day. If you like this project, or if you're curious about any of the tools that I used, check out my Amazon page. I have a link in the description, but then also check the right-hand corner of your screen. There are a couple of links. There is one that is the shed project, so if you want to see the lights and the switches and any of the kind of stuff that I used for this shed, there is an Amazon shopping list on there. And then also I have my greatest hits of tools that I use for all of these projects, so like the cable strippers and that kind of stuff. So anyway, I've had that store up for a month. I think I've made $1.50 in commission so far, so if you want to check that out, by all means, help a brother out. Anyway, thank you for stopping by as always. I really do appreciate it. I will catch you guys on the next one. See ya.